In our news bulletin for this evening, the 45th Pacific Island Forum Leaders Meeting opened up opportunities for Niue to strengthen bilateral relations. The new strategic plan for tourism development has been supported by government. Niue women's kirikiki season finally comes to an end with finals over the weekend, with the Luffy retaining their title. The 45th Pacific Island Forum Leaders Meeting was held in Palau from the 29th of July until the 1st of August. Pacific Island Forum leaders meet annually to develop collective responses to regional issues, and this year's theme looked at the ocean life and future. Premier Toke Talangi was also present to discuss some of the major issues, looking at regionalism, climate change, fisheries, and other matters. The high-level meeting also provided an opportunity for leaders to hold discussions to strengthen bilateral relations between countries with potential funding for developments on the island.
Papua New Guinea has agreed to give us 5 million kina to help us build a new assembly building. We've discussed with New Zealand some extra funding for tourism developments, which we will confirm in Apia. We also discussed with the Japanese some extra funding for the solar developments here. I suppose if you add up everything that we've done bilaterally with many countries while we were there, we were looking at about just under $15 million. So I was happy with that, because that's part and parcel now of what we do when we attend these particular things. There are other things. There are other countries like Turkey and India and so on who are providing much smaller amounts of money, but very valuable to us. So I'm very grateful for them. Especially, and as well as the Chinese. We're saying that the Chinese, look, we've spent about 6 years now, but make a decision, otherwise we've got to move on and do something else. We can't continue to negotiate on this basis.
Premier Talangi also noted one of the highlights of the forum meeting was the appointment of Dame Meg Taylor as the new Secretary General of the forum, the first female, and a candidate that Niue supported. Niue's Premier was also appointed to take the lead in the Polynesian Leaders Group for the next year.
That I've been appointed as the chair of the Polynesian Leaders Group. One major responsibility that we have at the present moment is work with Shane Jones to see whether there is an alternative that we can use for the commercialisation of our fishing on the island.
In addition to other matters, forum leaders will also be expected to consider issues relating to development effectiveness, regional security and partnerships, and heading towards the SIDS conference in Samoa. Government continues to focus on tourism as the driving force for economic development on the island. Tourism Unleashed is the new strategic plan that will pave the way forward for tourism developments on the island for the next 5 years. The plan developed by Charles Cooper has been supported by Premier Talangi, who says he is satisfied with the outcome, considering the task had been given to the Niue Tourism Authority Board to work on for a number of months.
The Tourism Board was given 6 months, I think, end of last year and the beginning of this year to come up with a plan. By May they hadn't finalised anything, so I asked Charles Cooper to come up with a plan, and he prepared the plan and submitted it to us. I'm happy with the plan. I think everything that a strategic plan should contain is in there. The KPIs that were required to be included are in there. And I think it's just a question of now working out what the business plans are in relation to the execution of the strategy that has been put in place. So I'm very happy with the plan. At least we have something, and at least it's forward-looking, and I think it's good for Niue in the long term.
In an earlier news bulletin, the former chairperson for the Niue Tourism Authority Board, Teresa Scott, questioned why items such as internet broadband was included in the plan that she said was clearly an infrastructure issue. But Premier Toke Talangi explained that this is all part and parcel of the long-term vision and plan.
The tourism plan must include all factors that involve things, and one of those things includes internet, fast internet and so on. Whether they pay for it or not is really beside the point. The fact is, it must be pointed out, and that was done. I don't understand why the person who was given the opportunity to, in fact, prepare the plan, submit it, is now saying, well, the plan's no good. Well, they had ample opportunity to do this. They were given 6 months or so to prepare a plan. They didn't. So I'm thankful for their comments, but with all due respects, they should be there to execute the plan.
Premier Talangi has stated that government is happy with the plan that he believes will be good for Niue in the long term. On Saturday, the final women's cricket game between Tuapa and Alofi was held at Hakupu's Village Green. The Alofi women's team were the first up to bat, and before 3 hours was up, the Alofi team finished batting with a total of 135 runs. After a 30-minute break, it was Tuapa's turn to play catch-up, with their first 17 batters bowled out by the Alofi women bowlers with a total of 20 points. Towards the end, Tuapa seemed to step up their game with their last 2 batters making the score up to 104 runs. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to beat Alofi, and the team leader for Tuapa said that there weren't any disputes on Saturday, only a few minor disagreements, but overall it was a good game despite the weather. Alofi's team leader Eniki Nisikea stated that she was very proud of her bowlers as well as the whole team. During their whole game on Saturday, they all seem to have improved. Once again, the Alofi women's cricket team are still the undefeated champions, Tuapa taking second place. The women's cricket season is finally over after a long time of postponed games and other disputes, but season is finally over for 2014. Those are our news stories that we have for you this evening. We do hope that you can join us again for our next news bulletin.